Coach is one of his main goals, main purposes is time management. That's what the coach does, is time management. It ain't up to Tony Romo to fucking call these timeouts and plan out when they're going to use their timeouts and all that. That is not Tony Romo's job. Granted, yes, it would have been great if he had called the timeout.
He could have taken it upon himself to do it.
So I just think
because he does it when he sees a defense that he doesn't like.
Exactly.
When he goes up and does his pre-snap read and says, "Oh, this matchup isn't working, so I got to call timeout."
I just think it's so dysfunctional, and I tell you what, man, we could have gone up 2 games. We really needed that because I don't see us. Well, one, it'd be great if we can do a 1-1 with the Giants, but dude, I certainly don't see. There's no way we're going to win 2 against the Giants. It's very likely that we could go 0-2 against the Giants, lose the division, losing that Arizona game could really F us bad.
Right.
Because you saw how good the Giants performed against Green Bay. I mean, that was a hell of a game. So
it was.
So bottom line on that is it was a failure on Garrett's part first and foremost, but I think it goes even higher than that, and the reasoning behind it is because Jerry Jones is he's just got like this cloud over the whole organization. You should have seen Jerry Jones's face.
Yeah, he was livid, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was bad. But again, they need to get an offensive coordinator in there next year. Jason Garrett cannot handle. I like the
dual hatting,
but he cannot handle dual hat. No, can't handle it all. So
who would you, as a Cowboys fan, who would you like to see?
Norv Turner. I want Norv Turner as the offensive coordinator. Jason Garrett as the head coach.
Well, they got to fire Norv Turner first.
I think that will happen.
You think that'll happen?
It has to happen.
San Diego should get Marty Schottenheimer back.
Hell yeah! Oh, how great would that be?
Oh man, that'd be
Shoddy coming in there. I told you, bitches. Yeah.
So. It went into overtime. Rod Stevens howling. That's another whole. All these players with these double names and shit.
Quadruple names.
That kind of bothers me. But he scores on a 52-yard screen pass from Kevin Kolb to end the game. And so Roman didn't even get a chance to redeem himself in overtime. Let's see here. And then Dallas has New York twice and then Philly once. To 3 division games out of 4 remaining to go to end the season.
Yeah, this game coming up this week, Sunday Night Football. It's going to be
pivotal,
huge game.
That's how Jaggis would say it. Huge.
It's totally huge.
All right, we're going to talk about injuries now.
Oh, can I just say something real quick since we were talking about the Dallas game?
What's up?
Heads up, fantasy wise for DeMarco Murray. You'll notice past couple weeks, yards per carry down big time. Granted, they played a couple better defenses. Well, Tony Fiammetta, fullback. This dude's an unsung hero, beast mode.
Yeah, he's been doing really good blocking.
Yes. Well, out 2 games. Had some crazy illness. Doctors couldn't even figure it out. Well, he has now been approved for practice and stuff. So this is perfect timing for him to come back against the Giants. So I think even though Giants have a pretty good D.
So he's a top 5 running back player, you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Lower end of top 5.
Lower end, okay.
Yeah.
All right, injuries. We're going to stay on the Dallas Cowboys. Miles Austin. He's been out forever with a hamstring injury. Listed as likely to play against the Giants this weekend. You like your odds?
I do. Laurent Robinson didn't do so well last week because he had a couple injuries in the game. He was in and out. It was really nice to see Des Bryant step up. Des Bryant is a wide receiver 1 play this week, as is. I'd still take Bryant over Austin simply because Austin's coming back, but I think Austin is definitely going to have high-end wide receiver 2 numbers simply because the New York Giants secondary is pretty decimated. So
right,
you saw now Green Bay is a different animal, but you saw what they did to him. So
with Charles Woods now with a concussion,
yeah, man, I think that's going to be huge.
That'll be huge.
Yeah,
I think the guy's leading in interceptions. So
yep.
Andre Johnson, Houston Texans.
How sad is this crap, man?
The other hamstring he injures because he was injured with one hamstring injury on one leg, injures the other one in last week's game against the Falcons. He is listed as day-to-day versus the Bengals this weekend.
Yeah, I think
he just seems like a risky play. I mean, even though he's a beast, but he just seems to be a risky play to me.
He's going to be a risky play from here on out, if you ask me, because the fact that it was his other hamstring. I mean, yeah, that's good that it's not the one that was already injured, but this is just a new injury, so that's also pretty shitty.
Right.
It also sucks I'm kind of pulling for Houston a little bit. They're a Texas team, and they've never made the playoffs. it'd be really good to see him do it. And TJ Yates looked pretty good. I mean, he wasn't stellar.
First outing, he looked pretty good.
Yep, he got a couple of nice I'd say bounces his way.
Right.
But hey, he won the game. So they're gonna have guys step up. What's his nuts?
Arian Foster,
but who's the wide receiver?
Jacoby Jones.
Yes, Jacoby Jones. He's gonna have to step up. Tight ends are gonna have to step up, and obviously a lot's gonna be on the back of Arian Foster and Ben Tate.
Right.
But yeah, he's a risky play no matter what because of injury.
All right, your boy, my boy, everybody's boy, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, buddy.
High ankle sprain, likely out versus the Lions. ProFootballTalk.com reported Sunday that Peterson might not only miss his third straight game in Week 14, but could soon be shut down for the rest of the season. But we will know tomorrow on Wednesday.
Right. When that last injury report comes out, that'll be nice. But if you stand by one moment, I have some late breaking news. I'm not really a Twitter person, but I know a lot of people are. Like Truck, he's a huge Twitter person.
Who's tweeting?
Adrian Peterson is tweeting.
Oh.
All my concerned fans out there, no, I'm not sitting out the rest of the season. As soon as I'm ready to roll, I'll be back. So at least he's not going to be done for the rest of the season.
But
however, we kind of need him.
He'll be back. Fantasy wise, he'll be back after most people's seasons are over.
Exactly. I mean, because if you're the Vikings front office, you don't want to see Adrian Peterson come back this year.
But I guarantee you, Adrian Peterson does not give a shit about your fantasy football league.
He certainly does not.
Right. Kevin Smith, Detroit Lions, high ankle sprain. His status is unknown. I don't know if you saw the play that he injured himself. He was untouched. He got almost to a first down, then he just fell on the ground, and that was it. He got carted off afterward.
Yeah, and he was visibly frustrated as hell.
Right.
And I can't blame the poor guy. Like I really feel for the guy. Every time he's in there, he looks good.
Yeah,
he looks real good.
Leading up to that injury, his movement wasn't very very good. He knew he obviously wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
Like his cutbacks weren't very crisp.
And that was on that. It was on a cut. Like it was just a cut to the right, and it just boom, went limp.
And it was kind of subtle too.
Oh yeah.
So
I think as we mentioned last week, and a sleeper that panned out, old Maurice Morris. I told you last week that it was going to be all in the receiving game. I wouldn't see much in the run game. He did end up, I believe, with 5 receptions, 30-some-odd yards, and a touchdown. So that was definitely a sleeper that panned out, and I think you roll with him again. Maurice Morris is going to be, obviously, the main beneficiary from this Kevin Smith problem.
Yep. Darren McFadden, that guy.
Has he been out, 5 weeks now? Is it something like that? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, some ridiculous time frame.
Ridiculous.
He's been having a foot injury all season, really. If you think about it, he's likely out. Coach Hugh Jackson was asked Monday if McFadden is out for the rest of the regular season.
Ooh.
He said, quote, "I don't think so. I think he'll be back. I really do. When that is, I don't have an answer." End quote. The earliest that Roto World is expecting to see McFadden in any capacity is Week 15 going against the Lions. And he hasn't played since October 23rd, it says.
Ah, there we go. So, well, if you got Michael Bush, you're lucky. Although he had a pretty horrible game last week.
I think he's a matchup play.
Yeah, it looks like Tywan Jones is coming back.
Yeah,
but even when he was healthy, they weren't really utilizing him. They do maybe 1 or 2 passes, and he'd get a couple carries. But obviously, Michael Bush is the bell cow there.
Speaking of the Raiders, Denarius Moore. He had an ankle injury. He's probable, so he'll be playing.
I really love that.
As well as Jacoby Ford.
Oh.
So Carson Palmer desperately needs those 2 playmakers back on the field.
Big time.
After that ass whooping in Miami last weekend.
Whole team's been struggling. Nobody wants to face Miami, by the way.
They're the hottest fucking team in the league right now, I think.
The big thing on defense is Carlos Dansby, for a couple weeks during this win streak, was putting up 30-plus fantasy points. I mean, he was getting 10 solos and some ridiculous stuff. Well, they started ISOing on Dansby.
My boy Kevin Burnett.
And then Burnett's blown off. So, defense has stepped up huge, and it looks like Matt Moore is really starting to grasp the offense and just getting a little more comfortable. So
IDP leagues, get Kevin Burnett.
And I think Carlos Dansby is actually a good play this week because, like I said, they're having trouble figuring out who they're going to put the hats on. I got a couple more little nuggets when we get to the IDP section, by the way.
Yeah, one major nugget that he plays for the 49ers. I won't mention his name yet.
Oh my gosh.
But all right, now coming up next is Matt Forte.
Matt Forte. Is so sad.
Did you see that injury?
I did.
That was horrible.
Right into the leg.
And like his like the bottom of his cleat got caught into the turf, and then
old boy, whoever it was, I can't remember who it was, just plowed.
He just plowed right into his leg, and it just went.
So he's done for the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, likely to return if they make the playoffs. Yeah, fantasy wise, he's done. But if you're a Chicago Bears fan, he should be back if they make the playoffs. But my question to you is Marion Barber, is he a good pickup and play?
I think he is definitely a good pickup and play.
They're facing Denver, the 18th ranked run defense.
Oh yeah. I mean that's not a beautiful matchup, but I mean
Von Miller.
No Von Miller. I'll tell you what though, Mario Hagan stepped up, but I tell you what, I think Marion Barber is definitely a good play. He'd be a flex play. But any fans of Dallas know, and we got to see the guy when he was not carrying the load. He was a damn good play.
Now remember, this is the fantasy playoffs.
I would play him as a flex play. I'll tell you right now. If I was deciding between, let's say I had Marion Barber and I'm trying to think of a lower tier guy. Shit. Okay, how about this? Marion Barber or Maurice Morris. I'm going Morris.
Right.
Marion Barber or Santonio Holmes. Then I'd think about it. Because Santonio Holmes is good for one touchdown, usually each week.
Couple catches.
And a couple catches, that's it. Because he's grossly underutilized there.
Right.
So it's just a matchup thing. It depends on who you're deciding between. But you know that Marion Barber's going to get the carries, and they're going to try and keep the ball out of Haney's hands as much as possible. So,
right.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a flex play. Don't expect a whole lot.
And lastly, we got Fred Davis, who today got suspended along with another teammate. I don't even fucking remember. He wasn't even a skill player.
Oh, wait. No, wasn't he an offensive lineman from Oklahoma State? One of their high draft picks, I thought. But yeah, dummies.
They are suspended for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy.
Smoke weed every day.
It was either that or, I mean, it was probably maybe PEDs.
PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs.
Who knows? Nothing was reported. It was just that they were in violation. So,
yeah.
If if he's a regular starter, you better fucking scramble and get something.
And it really sucks too, because that guy, I mean, he was on strong, big time. It's kind of funny because he went there and Chris Clooney. Cooley. Dude, midshifts are killing me. Chris Cooley, they already had a good tight end, but Fred Davis was highly touted. Could have been a possible first-round pick. So it really sucks to see him be an idiot like that.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
All right, coming up next, we're going to be talking about just a little rundown on the top performances, fantasy performances from last week.
Okay.
All the fantasy points that are accrued are courtesy of myfantasyleague.com.
Yeah, buddy.
That is the website that we use for our fantasy leagues, and that's the website you should use for your fantasy leagues, because they're kind of the tits.
They really are the tits, and they're fully customizable. And one of the things we have on our page is a history page, which I say every year is probably my favorite aspect, man.
Okay, let me inform our listeners that our two listeners that he loves this page, this history page on our league's website, because he's like the top on every fucking category.
No. On a lot of them.
Almost every category.
I like it because our leagues...
I would love it too if that was me.
Hey, if you would pay attention to it, you'll see that you've actually made a couple of milestones this year. Yes. Under the milestone tab, you should check it out.
Are they number one in anything?
Well, number one in your heart? Dude, well, milestones are just a cool thing to win. Like points milestones, win milestones, different things like that. So you can go in there, and it's just kind of cool to see when you hit these different things. I don't know. I just really like it. But the other thing about the history page is it shows you your history against other teams.
Right, series, records, and all that shit.
So that's kind of cool.
So myfantasyleague.com. If anybody from working for that website is listening,
yes,
hint.
Plug it.
We're plugging the shit out of your website. So
yes, and when we end up
hook a brother up,
getting our shit together here at Football Faction, and actually have a professional production with video and all that.
Yeah, this is the most ghetto production I've
We're in my
been a part
study
of.
right now. No soundproofing. The ceiling fan is on.
Obviously, we heard